Welcome, welcome to the middle ground with Suede. I appreciate you guys showing up and clicking my video. Um, Today we got a lot of topics. We have a good amount of topics. We're gonna be happy today. Um, the beginning of the year is a little bit past, about 15 days, and the news will start to come. They're gonna start coming. So we're gonna have a lot more to talk about. So our episodes are probably gonna start being a little bit longer, and it's fine. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you guys driving trucks, driving for Amazon, and we do have an Amazon story today. Driving for U.S. Postal, truck drivers, nurses, hopefully teachers are actually teaching, but teachers on your break, uh we'll be we'll be having longer episodes. Hopefully you guys enjoy it more. So speaking of positivity, right, we know we got to stay positive even when we have bad days. We gotta still work and do what we gotta do even in bad days, and some of us have to keep a smile on our face even on sad days, right? So with that being said, our next story we're gonna start with, it's a little dicey. um so it's gonna bring up a lot of topics, a lot of discussion that we've been having in society today with race and you know and getting together, working together, and letting go of the past of, you know not letting go in a sense, because I know a lot of people don't like the word letting go. It's not forgetting, but it's more, you know look past it and move forward, in a sense where let's solve the problem, I should say. Not look past it, let's solve the problem, and and um and move forward, and make sure everyone's happy and comfortable and work together. But sometimes we get stories like this, and it's a little discouraging. But you know, I don't believe these officers were being prejudiced in a sense. But that's what it's gonna look like. And that's what I'm saying. With us, we have a lot of work to do with in society, because you know the mistake that's being made by these officers, they're they're a little off. You understand? And you guys will see why I feel like it's a little off. I feel like these officers, especially the job of being an officer, these little mistakes here, there has to be some type of training or some type of life experience that you gotta have in order to, carry out that job. I feel like, because with these mistakes, it's a little off. Now, granted, nobody got hurt, which is good. We're always happy. Nobody got hurt. But I'll play the video, guys, and so you guys can kind of see what I'm speaking about. All right. Um, and leave your comments in the chat. I wanna hear what your opinions are on that. But nonetheless, let's get it going.
Home from school when she was detained and handcuffed yesterday, brought to tears over a crime she did not commit. Good evening, I'm Matt Mulcahy.
I'm Megan Coleman. Deputies held her Monday night for about 7 minutes, believing she stole a car. That child's mother is outraged tonight. She spoke with our Connor White.
With the reasons, right? 11 years old. Keep that in mind, guys. Let's keep that in mind. 11 years old, okay? Arrested, held, well, I guess held in handcuffs. That's terrifying. 11 years old. That is terrifying for an 11 years old. And just that alone, you know, the story starts, it's starting out bad. But let's hang on. Let's see what else happened.
He is live for us in Syracuse tonight. Connor?
Megan, Matt, that video shows that deputies were likely going to bring that little girl downtown until they finally realized that the suspect they were looking for had longer hair than the 11-year-old they had in handcuffs. A walk home from school interrupted by Onondaga County Sheriff's deputies.
Wait, I'm actually so confused. I'm scared.
A young girl starts recording after 2 deputies place her 11-year-old cousin in handcuffs.
You guys can keep going.
No, I gotta stay with her.
The deputies explained that this girl matches the description for a young person who allegedly stole a Kia.
Those are painful pants.
Pink check, exact same description.
Yeah.
The children repeatedly tell the deputies that they have the wrong girl. They're ignored.
Girl, you gonna tell me this ain't you?
The deputies insist that the 11-year-old girl in handcuffs is lying.
Yo, that officer said, "You want to tell me that ain't you?" I like it. I like it. I feel like, she should probably, that mistake here, she probably should have a better idea, because it sounds like she's a little bit more immersed in the culture a little bit. By just the way she sounds. I don't know. I'm just saying, y'all be the, not the judge here. Y'all the viewers. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But from what she say here,
Deputies insist that the 11-year-old girl in handcuffs is lying, showing them a photo of the suspect. When other deputies arrive and the reality of the situation sets in, she starts crying.
That's not her. Wait, can I?
This child's mother, agreeing to speak to the I-Team anonymously, is beside herself.
She no longer wants to walk to and from school anymore. That was the only freedom she had, and it's now gone.
Eventually, the deputies realize the girl they placed in handcuffs is not their suspect. One of the deputies seems to say that the alleged car thief they're looking for has longer hair.
I'm sorry about it. You matched the description pretty clearly.
Okay, let's go, guys.
You guys are good to go, okay? I'm sorry.
Mom is not accepting the apology.
I can't make sense of it. I couldn't even finish watching the video.
so what happened, guys? Now that y'all seen most of the video here, I could kind of tell y'all. So what happened was the young girl is playing with her friends in the snow, like we all did when we was younger. The ones that live in areas that do have snow, we're playing the snow. We run outside when it's nice and pretty, and we make a mess. So the young girl's coming home with her friends and cousins, obviously, and she got stopped and detained. So what happened, apparently, what was happening was somebody put out a call, right, that their car is stolen, and a description which matches the outfit the girl is wearing. But they also have a picture. You're getting you're getting the issue here. You're getting the issue here. They have a picture. These officers clearly are not African Americans. Have a picture of an African American person and insisting the girl looks like the picture. Granted, the clothing description was matched, but an 11-year-old does not look like probably a 20-something-year-old, 18, stealing a car. So someone stealing a car is gonna be, most likely gonna be 18 and up. Not that minors don't steal cars. They do. But an 11-year-old most likely is not going to be stealing a car. So a few things happen there, a few problems. First of all, they're looking at this young girl and estimating she's probably older than what she really is, which is a problem, a common problem that happens when it comes to young African American kids, right? We all know that, it's all in the news. And our good friends that happens to be white, Caucasian, etc., will probably say the same, right? It's been happening. Now, on top of mistaking her for probably being an older person, they're mistaking the picture. Not all black people look alike, and I know that's a problem. And I know that's a problem. And you know, and that's something that's probably could be forgiven, right? Because if you're raised in an area where you don't see much black people, they're probably all gonna look similar to you, right? Great example, right? If you ever been in a school where there's a lot of, I went to a school where there's a lot of mixed race, a lot of diversity, right? And once once you're around a friend that doesn't look exactly like you, right? For a while, you start recognizing the distinct features. But until you spend that time, right? Until you spend that time with these friends, with these people or co-workers, you get a new job, you graduated college, you get a great job in a firm or company, and upon arriving there's everybody don't look like you, right? That's a common thing that it happens to us a lot, right? Most people don't look like us. And after a while, you start recognizing, because you're spending so much time with them, you start recognizing, okay, this person looks different from that person. This person looks different, because it takes some time, right? We understand that. Most people understand that. So that's probably the case. But in a case where in the case of being a police officer, and that's where the problem arises, right? In my personal opinion, I feel like if we keep running into the same problem, mischaracterizing or misaging young black kids, taking 10, 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-old for 18, 20, 25-year-old people. That's a problem. Okay? And also not being able to tell the difference in the feature and facial features, because as African Americans and black people and people from the islands, we can tell the difference, right? Because we're around these people. They're our family members. We live with them. Since birth, we recognize their faces. We've seen their faces. All good, right? So, but if you're not used to it, which is the problem, right? And you should get some training, okay? And some life experiences. So to become an officer, I feel like you should have some of these experiences, right? So you should at least work with some, I don't know, people that don't look exactly like you. Work with different group because work with different group of people, because we are in America. We are a melting pot. I'm from the islands. I got friends from Europe. I got friends from South America. I got friends from Asia. Got friends from, the islands. So, and they all live here in America. So we gotta start paying more attention to these things, guys. So this type of mistakes, we could kind of avoid them. We could cut down on them, because in this case here, nobody died. Thank God the girl went home safely, and they recognized the mistake right away. But we all know in other cases, it's a lot more serious. So let's finish this video here. Let's see what the mom had to say.
Even if it wasn't my child, I wouldn't be able to finish watching the video because that's not how you handle children.
Late this evening, the sheriff's office released a statement saying that Sheriff Toby Shelley met with the mother this afternoon. He described it as a productive meeting. They also clarified that the deputies, in their opinion, did everything by the book, saying that they are within their right with certain provisions to be able to put juveniles in handcuffs. We've reached back out to see whether or not there was actually a formal apology, as that was not clarified in their statement. Reporting in Syracuse, I'm Connor White.
Thank you.
And as I said, we're thankful everything went good, everything went okay, but clearly, guys, it went a little too far, especially with the minor. But as the police the police commissioner or the police chief there says, they operated properly, they didn't do anything wrong, which I also understand, because being a police officer is a very tough job because you run into this situation constantly. So it's a hit and miss, right? You're not going to be perfect every single time. And in this case, let's be honest, they figured it out pretty quickly. Apparently it was under 10 minutes, and the young girl was able to go home. So we're like to shine, right, the light on this. And also, if we're gonna criticize them, right, for the mistake, which didn't end up being too grave of a mistake this time, but we also gotta commend them for also, realizing very quickly and nothing terrible happened. And also, they also have to be able to do their job by figuring it out. So job well done. The job was done. So they figured it out. But the journey was a little weird. Not recognizing that was a little girl, and also not recognizing that picture probably was not an 11-year-old and didn't look like, I'm sure the girl was black, had black people hair and face or whatever, lips, nose, eyes, facial features, but did not look like that little girl. All right. So this will this is something that we got to learn, and work on. But congratulations to both parties, right? Little girl has her life, and because we know that could have went bad quickly, and she seems like she stayed calm, and the officer actually did their job, figured out very quickly that it wasn't her there. And our next story here, guys, we have breaking news, right? Breaking news with Mr. Diddy. As you guys know, Diddy been in the news every week since his arrest, right? I believe mid-September, around that time. And we all know about the freak offs. We all know about the baby oil. We all know about Cassie, which is also, I believe, victim number one. And we all know about the countless victims that are coming out. They even had a 1-800 number for the freak off victims. That's how much damage they're alleging Diddy is doing out here in these streets. We've seen the ups and downs, the bail hearing after bail hearing, bail denial after bail denial. And we also saw how big that bail was. They were prepared to pay $50 million to get out, and they're keeping them. We all seen that. So today, or in the recent past, right, Diddy legal team uh stated that Sean Diddy Come legal team contended that, right? That the video that were seized from his properties demonstrated his innocence. In a motion filed in New York federal court, his attorney assert that the footage show consensual sexual interactions between adults, right? So so they're watching the tapes now. They're watching the tapes. They getting a close look. And hopefully they're in an office somewhere, not at home. Freaking lights turned down, music on, shades closed. Hopefully they're not doing all that to watch these freak out videos. But they're watching them. They're watching them, and they finding that things look pretty normal on a video. So they say that it looked like between two adults in a long-term relationship, countering the claim of coercion, violence, and manipulations. So they're saying what they're seeing in these videos, right? What they're seeing in these videos are not matching what the prosecutors are saying happened. That's a win. That's a win for Diddy. What do you guys think? That's a win. And on top of all the weird allegation, I would say loss, right? Diddy been taken with all these allegations and lawsuit after lawsuit. If that's the case, if the videos are not showing people being forced, people being uncomfortable, people being manipulated, if these videos are not showing these things, people are grabbing body parts on their own, taking their clothes off on their own, grabbing drinks, whatever they doing, and the freak offs on their own. Diddy might have a break here. He might have a way. Because from what they're showing us, from what they're telling us, it's Diddy has a long road ahead of him, right? From what they're telling us, it's going to be a hard case. It's going to be a very difficult case. If what they're selling us is true, but as Americans in America, we know we have laws, we have processes, so we gonna let the process take place and let the law and lawyers exercise the law and see if it comes to. But but before we go off this topic, right? I want to show y'all a little bit about what Diddy been going through, and also the bad news for Diddy today, the new allegation, because we know there's one every week or so. There's gonna be one. There is a babysitter now that's accusing Diddy. So apparently, that babysitter was a young girl, 15, 16, around that age group, babysitting for Diddy, and his family. And she alleges Diddy and friends. It's like Diddy's always with a couple dudes ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So she's alleging Diddy and her friends assaulted her, and we'll watch the video and you'll get more details on that. We'll get a little bit more details. But shout out to Law and Crime, and obviously Jesse. Let's take a look.
where an unidentified woman says that she was a 16-year-old babysitter when she was cornered by Combs and 2 associates and brutally assaulted. I'm going to be taking a closer look at the lawsuit right now and how it compares to other complaints against Sean Combs.
Now, who are those associates? That's what I'm talking about. Diddy always got a couple homeboys around ready and down with the fuckery, man. What kind of friends are those? What kind of friends are those?
Welcome to
What
Sidebar,
kind of
presented
friend
by
are
Law and
those?
Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, so now it's time to talk about this new lawsuit. And we have an anonymous woman who would be in her 40s right now who says that she was just a high schooler working to make a little extra money as a babysitter when she was targeted by Sean Diddy Combs. Now, she, of course, is not the first and likely not the last to file a lawsuit against the music and entertainment mogul, right? As you know, Combs currently locked up in the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn, New York, awaiting trial on federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges. Right now, his trial is scheduled to begin on May 5th, 2025. When you think about that, that is just right around the corner. We'll see if that date sticks, but I'll tell you what, we'll actually get a little bit more into the details about that trial timeline in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about this latest lawsuit. So it was filed in New York State Court on Monday. It is a state case, not a federal case. The named defendants are Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, Bad Boy Entertainment Holding, Inc., doing business.
And you know they're going for everything. They're going for his companies or anything he's involved with as far as his businesses. Himself, and I'm surprised I didn't see his mom in there somewhere. Because Diddy is rumored, right, to put a lot of his things in his mother's name. So they're going for everything.
Businesses Bad Boy Records, Combs Enterprises LLC, and John Doe 1 and John Doe 2. By the way, I have to say, it's always interesting talking about Sean Combs' affiliated companies in these lawsuits because we can't forget that prosecutors in the Southern District of New York say that Combs was using the employees, the resources, and the influence of his multifaceted business empire to further a criminal enterprise.
That's the face of a freak off right there. If any, you know what I'm saying? Why he always, he always acting weird. Grabbing Jay-Z's ass on stage. Always doing suspect dances. Licking his lips like LL Cool J. Allegedly. Oh, like, dude, come on, man. We could have, telling Fabulous, we never party, bro. We party, but we never party. It never went down. It never went down in the freak off. Nah, bro, Diddy Wiley.
That is the main allegation in the indictment that he's currently facing. According to the indictment that was handed down by a grand jury back in September, quote, the defendant operated his business, headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles, under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad.
This is Brandon Carter. He made $636,500.
We apologize for the commercial. It's YouTube, guys. Come on, get with it.
Enterprises in Combs Global, collectively the Combs businesses. Corporate entities in the Combs businesses included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. And later on in the indictment, the government alleges members and associates of the Combs enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The defendant and others known and unknown participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of the Combs Enterprises affairs. These individuals included certain Combs business employees, such as members of Combs security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other close associates of Combs. Now, to be clear, Combs has always maintained his innocence. He has entered a not guilty plea in federal court, reportedly told his attorneys that he can't wait to fight the allegations in court. That might be one of the reasons why they have been pushing for a trial that is, less than a year after he was arrested. You don't usually see that in a criminal case. And while Combs had previously settled that bombshell lawsuit that was filed against him by Cassandra Ventura, the one that really got the ball rolling on all of these legal actions against him, he has
Yes. And if y'all remember, it all started when Cassie checked his bluff, right? Because if Diddy knew she wasn't bluffing, right? If Diddy understood that, because I believe Diddy thought she was bluffing. Yo, I'm gonna go out, because it also entail, if you're thinking from Diddy's point of view perspective, right? You going and filling out a case will entail you putting all your dirty business out there as well. Okay? Hence these tapes. And from what we're hearing, the tapes that they're reviewing are not even from Diddy. Most of them are not even from Diddy and what they got from Diddy's homes. They're from what Cassie gave up. So Cassie was prepared. Cassie was just ready to go after him. You could tell she put a lot of thought into this. And it was clearly for the money, because she didn't go criminal. Obviously, they're picking out things from the Cassie a lawsuit. They everything stemmed from that Cassie lawsuit, and they modeled their case after what they read and what they learned from the Cassie lawsuit. So Diddy should have just paid. In conclusion, right? Diddy should have just paid Cassie, not thinking she's bluffing, not taking her kindness, because she seemed like a sweet, kind girl, for a weakness, right? That's probably Diddy's number one mistake, was thinking Cassie is bluffing for whatever reason, right? Because clearly, right, everything started out from, I would say, that case. That's when the feds started rolling out. Because we've heard a bunch of stories about Diddy years after years. But he's never been put in a situation like this before.
Never been found liable for any misconduct in any of these lawsuits. I want to be clear about that. And he and his attorneys have adamantly denied claims of sexual assault in all of these lawsuits. By the way, totally off topic here, but I got to tell you something that I am very, very excited about. I have been using this men's grooming line for years. It's called Brickle. I really think he was untouchable. He was untouchable. You can't really go after him. But when you see the multitude of lawsuits that are being filed against him, and that he's currently behind bars, he's not out on bail, they may feel safe to come forward with their claims now. But nonetheless, she still has to prove that this happened just to win her case.
And that's a good point he's making, right? A lot of people are saying, so why these girls are coming now? Because we're clearly getting the sense of monetary gain, monetary motivation when these people are coming after Diddy. We're getting that sense. All because we saw what Cassie did. Because Cassie did it perfectly. Drop it like an album, right? And got paid. Dropped the lawsuit and got paid. Quick. Very quickly. So a lot of people are gonna say, maybe this is why people are coming after Diddy. It's because they want to get paid like Cassie did. So that's the only reason why a lot of people are putting this type of rhetoric on the whole thing. But to his point, to Jesse's point, maybe these people were afraid. Maybe these people thought, who's gonna believe me or who's gonna help me? It's Diddy after all. But wait a minute. After Cassie did that and they saw him get in jail, got arrested, got charged, got arrested, he's having to remain in jail because they're not giving him bail. Maybe these people start feeling, the rest of these people that are coming out now start feeling a little bit more comfortable because clearly he's lost his power. He's lost his footing. So that's a good point. I believe that could be the case. Now, is that the case? We don't know. It's a possibility. But that's a good point to go to that question of why all these people are coming out now. Why not 10 years ago? Why not 15 years ago? Why now? Right?
Let's talk about that because Jane Doe is suing for violation of New York's Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act. We've talked about this many times here on Sidebar. This created a look-back window for victims to come forward and file claims even if the statute of limitations would have normally run out and that their claims would have been time-barred. And that's where laws like the Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act comes in. Because as of March 1st, 2023, victims could pursue civil claims for past offenses no matter when they happen. That look-back window closes pretty soon, though. It's set to expire in March of 2025. Now, in her complaint, Jane Doe's attorneys write that, quote, the conduct of defendants, including but not limited to Combs' physical and sexual assaults of plaintiff in New York City, constitutes a crime of violence, and a crime of violence motivated by gender. So in other words, it's done through some animus because she's a woman. And a crime of violence motivated by gender against the plaintiff, as defined by the New York City Gender Motivated Violence Act. In other words, you have to say that this act was motivated because of some sort of animus because she was a female. Now, it says the acts of the co-defendants fall clearly into prescribed behavior by either committing, directing, enabling a conspiracy in the commission of the offending behavior. According to the complaint, Jane Doe grew up in Lower Manhattan. She was 16 years old, living with her
16. So underage, right? Now, we know some places age of consent is 16. A lot of places, or some places are 15, I believe, as well, even lower than that, right? And but I believe New York City is probably is 16 or 17. But still, very young, very young, not able to make decisions, right? So this painting a picture of, you know, very, very nasty. It's painting Diddy in a weird light. And this girl seemed to be say she was a babysitter. So that's something that could be proved, right? Because you got to pay babysitters, probably have pictures, probably can describe, you know, the places he was living at that time. So very interesting case. Again, we're not saying it's true, and we're not saying it's not true, right? So what we're saying is we're going to let the law, we're going to let the courts figure it out. But as YouTubers and as citizens, as, you know, people that watches these things unfold, we have opinions, right? And my opinion on this is Diddy might be in trouble. Diddy might be in trouble because this is a little close. This is a little too close. That's your babysitter, know your kids. And there's probably going to be proof of this, right?
her father and stepmother when she started working part-time as a babysitter in a building around the corner. Again, this is back in 2000. One of the women who lived in that building is described in this complaint as, quote, a well-known woman with whom the defendant was in a relationship. Now, Combs had started his meteoric rise to the top of the hip-hop world during the 90s, was a very well-known name at this point, especially in New York City. And the complaint reads, on or about in between late August or early September 2000, when she was 16 years old, just before school started, plaintiff was working as a babysitter in the building where Combs' romantic partner lived. As she left the babysitting job and was exiting the building, the plaintiff came upon Combs, who was in the presence of two male individuals who apparently worked for him.
Okay, so this is unfolding a little different, right? So she wasn't a babysitter for Diddy. Okay, so she was a babysitter in the building that one of Diddy's shorties lived at. Okay, so now as far as the paperwork and knowing the kids and having receipts and things like that might be it's not in the cards anymore. So let's see what they have, because now this is interesting. So what evidence are we gonna see as the public that this happened? It can't just be her words, right?
Combs was sitting in a car with the door open. Combs engaged her in conversation, asking where she was going so late at night and that it was not safe for her to be walking alone. She advised Combs that she lived around the corner, was familiar with the neighborhood, and would be fine. Combs offered a ride home several times, which she continued to refuse. After much cajoling by Combs, she agreed and got into his car. Getting into Combs' car that day was something plaintiff would come to regret forever. During the ride, plaintiff became scared when they did not drop her off at home as promised. The defendant gave her a drink to, quote, calm her down.
A drink? A drink? My question is, where's Diddy finding all these rules? These drinks are prepped? Are these drinks like in the car ready to go? That is crazy to me.
Steady. Combs and his staff, the two male co-defendants, proceeded to a location where she was sexually assaulted by Combs. Now, this is something that has been alleged time and time again against Sean Combs, that he or his associates would use tainted drinks to make the victims compliant. In multiple lawsuits against Combs, alleged victims claim that they had a drink at a party or an audition before starting to feel woozy or sleepy, and these victims say they don't know exactly.
Countless, pretty much all the stories involve a drink. It's almost like that. It's almost like the Bill Cosby case. Where are them drinks coming from?
Exactly what happened to them after that, but they allege, many of them, that they would regain consciousness and they would find Sean Combs sexually assaulting them. Okay? And while a few victims say they were able to fight back, many others say they couldn't control their bodies enough to try to get away.
No way.
Back to Jane Doe, she says when Combs was through with her, they dropped her off. The complaint states she was eventually taken home and left in the lobby of her building by the same driver, John Doe 1 and or John Doe 2, who was present when she was picked up. By the way, one of the reasons that these people might be listed as John Doe 1 and John Doe 2 is because she might not know who these people's names are, but during the course of this litigation, during the course of discovery, those names will be known to her and they might be named as defendants in this.
Those are the friends. The friends that were there. Diddy's freak off friends, always ready to go friends. Those are the John Doe. So they're gonna figure those out as the case go on. Let's see what else they got.
Liable. Now, I'm unsure if that's actually going to work, if it's going to be sufficient, because usually you hold a company liable if the employee or owner was acting within the scope of his employment or was using company resources to commit the offense. You know, they say enabling his behavior, maybe, might work. But I also have to say, yes, this lawsuit, if you read it, is quite bare bones, right? There's not a lot of corroborating information there. Her account.
Yeah. So again, as we mentioned, they will go for the companies. They're gonna go for the companies because they know some companies might be like, hey, we don't want the issue here. How we settle this, get the money quick. And obviously the money pool and the money pot is a lot bigger when you also adding a company and also the individual, right? So that's that, right? And also the case, as I mentioned earlier, if that girl had actually worked for Diddy, if it was a babysitter for Diddy and his family, then it would have been a weird case, right? Okay, just like I had just finished saying, this one's probably going to be tough for Diddy. But now that we know, we found out that the girl was just a girl down the street that lived in this around the corner from where Diddy was going to his little girlfriend or one of Diddy's little jump offs. He was just going to the jump off house and bump into her. So the evidence there is not gonna be. It's gonna be a lot of. She said. Now, hopefully, maybe if there's any camera footages, because if they're putting these in the lawsuit, they have to be able to prove these things. So we'll see what they actually have, because from the lawsuit, just describing what happened, I don't know if that's evidence and that's gonna cut it.
Count, though, is very similar to other lawsuits that we've seen that is based, again, primarily on the alleged victim's account. It doesn't list out all of the pieces of evidence, and you don't have to. It's a lower standard to merely file a complaint. You just need to make statements that are sufficiently particular, that make clear what the claims are. They provide the parties notice of what is being alleged, what the elements of the claims are. But I will say, this allegedly happening back in 2000, you may not have all the documentary evidence that you would have in another case, right? The text messages, emails, photos, videos. It may exist during the course of discovery and during the course of this litigation, but it may not. We'll see if there's enough evidence to actually support the claims. But Combs' legal team responded to this.
So, again, we hope that if she's actually a victim, she gets justice. But it happened so long ago. We didn't have cameras all over the streets like we do now. We didn't have social media like we do now. We didn't have a phone that could be able to track her whereabout, Diddy's whereabout. We don't have these technologies back then, right? We didn't have these things back then. So how are they gonna prove the case? But also, Jesse also mentioned that they don't have to give you everything up front. They just gotta say enough to file a lawsuit. And obviously lawyers and prosecutors, they like to hold certain things as long as they can, because any information you might give out to the public or to the court, the party that's opposite from you can use that and build a case. So Diddy's lawyer did respond, and as I showed you earlier, they also respond to the overall case saying, hey, the videos we have, the evidences we have thus far does not show Diddy doing any of these things. Okay, but we're gonna let this go for now. This is gonna be a long case. I mean, they said they're trying to get it done by May, but it's a strong possibility they're gonna push it back because just like the little Dirk case, it's probably going to be a lot of things to go through, a lot of things to decipher, and giving the lawyers enough time to research, counter research, figuring out a case. You understand? And also the prosecutor, obviously. So we'll be watching. We'll be watching. We'll be keeping you guys updated with what's going on. Now, switching gear to none other than Drake. Drake. Drake with the lawsuit. Oh no. That's crazy. So Drake is another rapper, another artist, hip hop artist, in the courts right now. But Drake is fighting a different fight, right? Diddy's being accused and put in jail for doing freak offs, and Drake is fighting for his career, man. He's fighting for his right to express his dislike for what happened, for that whole beef, and what he feels his label has been doing to him. So Drake is suing Universal Music Group, right? And the problem is this: the whole hip hop community kind of felt weird that Drake is doing this, and they're framing it as Drake is suing Kendrick for beating him. Some will say, whoop his ass on this on this beef, right? Now, let's be clear. Not Like Us is a hit, a mega hit, and everyone is saying that Drake lost that beef, right? We can agree that the beef didn't go in his favor. Furthermore, it's done by Kendrick, which is LA's king right now, and always had a tick for tack with Drake. So, and the way LA works is they really support their people. They really support people that they claim as their own, born there, live there, have some success, and they're gonna stick with you. So this thing turned into a fiasco. But Drake is saying, I don't care about this beef or this thing I lost. I'm looking at my money. I'm looking at my money that's being decreased, that's being affected. My business is being affected by this. That's what Drake is saying. So here on the middle ground with Suede Instagram channel here, we posted Drake's remark, Drake's lawsuit. So Drake has filed a federal defamation lawsuit against his record label, which is UMG, right? So and this lawsuit alleges that the company promoted Night Like Us, put all their resources behind Night Like Us, made the record a mega record, which in turn hurt Drake's bottom line. How, you might ask? Because Drake deal is also in negotiation. Drake was either in negotiation or preparing for negotiation to sign a new deal, a new record deal, and probably it's rumored that he wanted upwards of 500-600 million, right? He wanted a lot of money. Okay. So what Drake is saying is this. Y'all went and put dirt on my name, make sure my market value went down. So when I come back to y'all for signing, y'all could lowball me for 100, 150, or whatever they were going to give him. You know, I heard it'd probably be closer to 300, right? Which is, I believe he wants a little bit more than that, if not more than that, right? But it seems like he's not getting that. He's not even getting that, is the rumor. So Drake is filing the lawsuit saying, hey, how dare y'all promoting Not Like Us, a record that's calling me a P word, a record that's lying about me. And that's where the defamation comes in, because it can't be defamation, right, if it's true. It can only be defamation if it's a lie. So that's where that comes in. And then we're gonna listen to this video here, kind of give us breakdown, sort of what I just spoke to you guys about, and have it in a more give us a little bit more detail on that. Let's take a look.
Ever seen when you understand it. So first, this isn't a lawsuit. It's a petition where Drake is asking the court to require Universal Music Group to give him evidence that he needs to bring a...
And remember, this happens a month ago. So the lawsuit that he's filing today, so he basically dropping this one out of New York and then continue with his lawsuit in Texas, going for defamation at this point.
Business practices. What he says is, I don't know who the other people were involved with Universal, but under the law, Universal has to tell me who they are so I can sue them for the following: civil RICO, deceptive business practices. What these people did is they used illegal bots to make it seem like Not Like Us was a lot more popular than it actually was. They cite to an Academics interview where Academics is on stream talking to some dude, and the dude says, I got paid $5,000 and promised a % of Not Like Us in exchange for delivering 30 million fake bot streams when Not Like Us first launched, so that it would seem more popular than it was and the algorithms would bump it up everywhere. What's really interesting about Drake's claim is that if you watch the Academics interview, Academics questions the veracity, the truth of this guy, saying, hey bro, are you sure? Like, somebody promised you points for bot streams? There's producers and engineers and people who feature on songs who don't get a % of the song. And somebody promised you? Academics questioned this guy's story. Anyway, Drake's lawyers saw it fit for a filing in a New York state court. And they say, look, this is some evidence of the bots. Then they say that Universal typically takes a cut in order for somebody like Spotify to put a Universal song on Spotify. And that in this case, Universal wanted Not Like Us to be more popular. And so they agreed to take a lower cut, and they gave it to Spotify on the low, cheaper. They paid radio for plays that, hey, Universal Music Group, in order to make Not Like Us artificially popular, paid.
And this is all business practices in the record labels. That's what the record labels do to any other artists that are a priority at the moment, right? They buy records. Back in the day, they'll just buy the CDs. Now it's streaming, so they pretty much buying records to boost the image of these artists, right? That's hip hop. We're all aware of that. As a fan of hip hop, we understand these practices, and it's a very competitive genre. We don't see it anywhere else, right? On any other genre. But hip hop is very competitive. So what they would do is lower the cut they're gonna take for the song. In turn, put me on the top page give me some more spins. Give us some of that boost. Give us some of that extra promotion. And what Drake is alleging, let's buy some of those bots. That's gonna bump up the record, make it go everywhere, have it played everywhere. And that's what Drake is accusing the record label UMG of doing, and also Spotify.
Apparently, they claim that all of this is illegal and that it caused damage to Drake by reducing his popularity, getting him less streams. They argue that streaming is a zero-sum game. Every time Not Like Us got streamed, it resulted in Drake not getting a stream, because you necessarily can't get a stream if everybody's listening to something else on that day.
That's nuts. that part of it is nuts. So he's letting them know as well that, hey, because you're spending so much time and so much energy and boosting that record, y'all kind of overshadow mine and cause my numbers to go down.
They're including this idea that Universal is firing people who have loyalty to Drake and preferring people who have loyalty to Kendrick. They also claim that Universal told Drake that, hey, none of this is our problem. Your problems are with Mr. Lamar. You should sue. Kendrick Lamar's last name, by the way, is Duckworth. They say your problems are with Mr. Duckworth. You should sue Mr. Duckworth. And if you sue Mr. Duckworth, maybe we'll jump in there with you. Because what do I think is happening here? First off, my mind is spinning, because I can't imagine that you're relying on a source that academics questioned, and that. But here's what I think is happening. I think you might have a situation where Drake realizes that Not Like Us and everything around that song and this battle has forever tarnished his earning ability, and his ability to make that money. This is what I think is so significantly reduced that he's got to do everything he possibly can to get it back, even if that means filing these claims where you're out here. I would never file a claim like that.
Yeah. So I think that's what's going on as well. I think Drake, just as we thought, right? Drake is not getting the deal he was getting before. He's not getting the money he would have gotten if Not Like Us was out, if this wasn't out, if this didn't cause so much heartache for him, causing him to be filing lawsuits, and just to kind of keep his superstardom, right? Because Drake is a superstar. He's a superstar nonetheless. He's still outselling, Kendrick. He's still a bigger artist than Kendrick, right? But right now, in hip hop, right, Kendrick is taking over, and we'll see, because Kendrick is not an artist that drops constantly. We'll see if he continues to drop and continue to feed the people, and if he'll continue to with his reign. So we'll see, because you gotta drop it. That's part of keeping up, and that's what Drake does. Drake drops every summer. We have some music from Drake. Every year he's gonna collab, he's gonna drop something. He keep us going. So we're Drake fans, we're hip hop fans. We like Kendrick as well. So we just want to see this get resolved and everybody go back to making music and being artists and not having to be suing each other over nonsense. Okay, good luck to both. Good luck to Kendrick. Good luck to Drake and with his career, and hopefully they figure this whole thing out because we need music. As fans, we want the music. Okay, so that's that. Have you guys heard with this Starbucks thing that's going on right now? Starbucks uh new policy, if you're not buying, get out. Remember, like, it's just like in New York back in the day, hurry up, buy or leave, or whatever they used to say in the stores when you walk in the stores as kids. You know, they're like, hurry up and buy, or leave, buy or go. You know, so we're used to that as kids living up north. But yeah, so Starbucks essentially is letting you know, if you're not buying, get the hell out of the place, of our facility, right? And that's the new policy that's going on here. I got a video we'll watch, and also we'll touch also on what happened, our theory on what happened that's causing Starbucks to make this decision, right? But let's see what Starbucks got going.
Shut the door on its open door policy. The coffee chain is now telling people they must buy something or leave. The policy has led to conflict inside some of the stores, including one here in Philadelphia that resulted in a lawsuit. Action News race and culture reporter Taronda Thomas live outside of that store in Center City with more. Taronda.
Well, Rick, this Starbucks was at the center of that viral video in 2018 when two black men were arrested after sitting here waiting for a meeting and not purchasing anything. Some worry that this new must-purchase policy will open the door for something like that to happen again. Change at the coffee house. Starbucks replacing its open door policy with a new policy that's meant to drive up business and drive out non-paying customers. The company sent this memo to stores about a new code of conduct, which, quote, makes it clear that our spaces, including our cafes, patios, and restrooms, are for use by paying customers and our partners.
It is a very, very risky move.
Temple University professor Abdullah Kamar researches business policies and their impact.
Clearly, some customers will feel safer, but there's a second type, which will be that some people will just not come, right? Because they feel that it is not a welcoming environment.
One of the concerns.
And that's very understandable. I understand where this researcher is coming from, saying that it does give you, your facility, a weird feeling, like I don't feel welcome. It's more like, hey, this is a business transaction, which goes against their marketing, right? Because their marketing is, look, nice tables, comfortable place to come and do work, and clean bathrooms, and it's almost like one of those workspace, it was clean place to do business. And I'm sure a lot of people that uses Starbucks, right, on a regular basis to buy coffee, sometime might walk in there just to have a quick meeting because I don't want to take the person to my apartment. Let's say you live in one of these apartments right here. You have a meeting, and you know Starbucks is on the right downstairs. You could feel like it's a safe place to go and hold your meeting. And while you're there, you probably grab your favorite drink, a water, or a snack, right? But Starbucks is making sure you're grabbing that snack, is making sure you get that drink now in order to sit in there. So I understand his point. It's making the consumer less comfortable, right? And Starbucks is saying, no, if you're in there, you pay. And that case they're speaking of is a case that happened, they say 2018. Around that time, I remember watching that case and what happened. So let's
that the policy could encourage bias, a situation Starbucks already faced in 2018 when 2 black men were arrested after sitting inside a Starbucks in Center City without buying anything. The incident sparked widespread protests and policy change, with Starbucks then solidifying its open door policy, saying people didn't have to buy anything to use the space. This new policy is an about face.
It may create some inherent discrimination culture. If the employees are not trained and they just implement this policy, this can be detrimental because different employees can treat customers very differently, right?
According to the memo, each store will get up to 3 hours of training on the new policies, which are also aimed at encouraging paying customers to stay longer by offering free refills on hot or iced coffee. It's a move to drive up profits for the coffee company, which has seen a dip in sales. With some stores citing safety issues, Starbucks says the new policies are part of a mission to, quote, get back to Starbucks and create the warm and welcoming coffee house our customers expect.
Yeah, it's. I understand their strategy. They're trying to keep paying customers in, paying customers coming, and they're trying to create a culture that if you know you're going to Starbucks, you got to buy something. So it will probably increase their sales, but by not much. I don't think. By how much? I don't think it's going to be much. I don't think it's going to be much, and people that would be just curious buyers, someone sitting there seeing something, that's gonna decrease. That's gonna eliminate that shopper. So that's the problem I'm seeing with it, and I don't know if it's a good move. Here, I'll show you guys a better video of what happened, I believe 6 years ago, 6+ years ago, right? So this is the reason. This is what happened. And this is a report when it was happening back then.
On the defensive, 2 men were escorted out of the cafe on Thursday accused of trespassing. They'd gone there to meet a friend and asked to use the restroom. When they refused to leave, a worker called the police. Their friend turned up as they were being removed.
What did they do? Someone told me what they did. They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing.
After that video went viral, Starbucks went into damage control.
We're always working to create the very best environment in our stores and in our communities. Tireless efforts to bridge the opportunity divide for young men and women of color. And I've never been more proud of this company and what they do. And this incident does not reflect the spirit of our brand. It was an unfortunate incident, and we'll be sure to make it right.
Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson also apologized on Twitter. This was little comfort for protesters who rallied outside and inside the chain's coffee shop in Philadelphia on Sunday.
And you know there's going to be some
The police
protesters.
commissioner defended the officers involved.
When the call was initially made, the Starbucks employees had told the males that they were going to call police, and they said, go ahead and call police, we don't care. So police get there and they're confronted by the same type of attitude, and repeatedly are told that they're not leaving. In fact, there's some alleged rhetoric about you don't know what you're doing, you're only a $45,000 a year employee or something.
And yes, people do treat police like, you ain't really, why are you talking to me? Some arrogant people do speak like that to the police. But nonetheless, right? They came, arrested those guys, and they were released, obviously, right? But got arrested, went through the whole thing. And I believe that's why Starbucks is doing this. And they waited a little while, so we didn't jump on it right away. But we get it, Starbucks. You don't want people in your place. And they got a big issues because it made national news. And I'll show you guys what happened, the outcome. Because those guys did end up suing Starbucks and they did get some money. So Starbucks wasn't saying how much, but they did sue Starbucks and the city. And they did their thing.
Some massive settlement. Think again. An attorney for Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robinson say they're walking away with a mere $2. And
$2 from the city, not from Starbucks, right?
an important promise.
What did they get called for? Because there are two black guys sitting here meeting me? Yes.
The viral video was seen by millions, setting off a fiery debate over racial bias and sparking protests and sit-ins at Starbucks nationwide.
What do we want? Justice!
On Wednesday, the two men arrested and the city of Philadelphia struck an agreement. Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson will be paid $1 each by the city and have their arrest records expunged.
I'm thrilled that they just did it for a dollar with the city. It showed a lot of class on their part.
Yeah, I mean, that was respectable, right? Because they didn't go for much. They just wanted the police department's attention, right? So they got the attention. And shout out to the police department as well, because they worked with these guys very quickly, swiftly, got that whole thing erased from their record, so it won't show they were arrested, and solve it in a very I would say humane and professional manner. So that's important. Again, that's the second story today that we got, and we're highlighting that, hey, sometimes the police will catch their mistake and solve it right away. So that's encouraging to see as well.
The city also agreed to fund a $200,000 grant program for aspiring high school entrepreneurs.
And they're spending some money. They just didn't take the money. So they agreed with the police department to open a grant, and it was for a couple $100,000, right? So they did something.
Robinson and Nelson will work on the grant committee.
I think that's very good for the city and for the youth especially.
Philadelphia's Mayor Jim Kenney released a statement that reads in part, "This was an incident that evoked a lot of pain in our city. Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robinson invited us to partner with them in an attempt to make something positive come of this." In April, the two young men were arrested in a neighborhood Starbucks for trespassing after the store manager phoned police when the men, waiting for a meeting, asked to use the bathroom and then declined to make a purchase.
Hi, I have two gentlemen at my cafe that are refusing to make a purchase or leave. I'm at the Starbucks at 18th and Spruce. All right, please, I'll be on as soon as possible.
Days after the incident, the Starbucks CEO offered an apology.
What happened and the way that
Hey, there goes the apology. There goes the apology. And we respect it. We respect it. As a CEO, you come forward, you apologize, realizing the mistake and addressing it head on. I respect it.
incident escalated and the outcome was nothing but reprehensible. And I'm sorry.
The manager who worked at that Starbucks is no longer there. A week later, the pair told their story.
He wasn't read any rights, nothing. Just double lock, handcuffs behind our back, and escorted out and put into a squad car.
That stuff never happened to me. So you have to walk in somebody else's shoes, try to understand where they're coming from, and then change your heart and change your mind and move forward in a positive way.
The two men also reached a confidential financial settlement with Starbucks.
There you go. There you go. These boys got some money. They got some money because it was wrong. It was wrong. You call a car and, you know, clearly these young men are a young black man trying to handle some business, setting up a meeting. Everyone set up meeting at Starbucks. Everyone set up meeting at, you know, a coffee shop. We all have done that. And they got taken to jail for doing this very same thing countless people around the country is doing because they chose not to buy a coffee and ask to use the bathroom. So that was a mistake. They fixed it, right? They paid the money. They did what they had to do. And now, 6 years later, 6 odd years later, almost 7 years later, they removed the policy. So now, in turn, someone won't come in there and say, look, I don't, and go through the same thing. It'll be a clear, hey, this is policy. It's very well known. You can't come in here and hang out and not buy anything. We're covering our asses in a sense. So, shout out to Starbucks. Is it the right thing? I don't know if it's the right thing, because it clearly shows some animosity for what happened 6, 7, 9 years ago. You understand? It's clearly showing, look, we waited long enough and we're going to do what we want, which is kick your ass out for real legally. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's that's where the problem lies, So is it going to be good? Is it going to be good for Starbucks? We don't know. But let's finish watching the initial story and we'll see what else they got.
I spoke to Dante Robinson, one of the 2 men arrested at the Starbucks in 2018. I asked him about his thoughts on this new policy. He declined to comment, saying that he's moved on from the situation. He and his friend both settled with Starbucks and the city. Now,
that sounds like somebody that's very happy with the amount of money he got. I got my money. I'm straight. Starbucks is the homie. They can't do that. You know what I'm saying? They can't do that wrong. So clearly the guy got some money and don't want to keep speaking. And it's probably part of his settlement not to say anything because it's confidential, right? So the guy's not going to say anything. But we can understand he got some money and he's doing good.
For that new policy saying that you must purchase something in order to use the restroom or hang out in this area of Starbucks, well, you can look for those stores to start posting about that, putting it on their doors, on their walls soon. Live in Center City.
So, yeah, exactly. It's if I was him, I wouldn't say nothing either. I got, they probably settled for a couple $100,000, maybe $1 million, maybe, we don't know. And I'm happy. I'm not going to keep talking crap about Starbucks. I'm not going to talk shit on the homie. They paid me. I'm good. I'm good. So shout out to Starbucks, man. Hopefully everything work out. And, don't go sit in a business if you're not supporting it. I also believe that. So most people, if they go, to a coffee shop or something of that nature, a restaurant, lounge, you buy a drink, you buy a water. At the least, if you're not hungry, if you're not thirsty or whatever, buy a drink, buy a water, and support the place so that way the place don't feel like you just there just to use their facility, their lights, their Wi-Fi, etc., and not spend any money. It's business at the end of the day, right? All right. So we'll keep you updated on that. We'll see if any updates happen and we'll keep you updated. And so moving forward, have you guys seen these I'm sure you guys heard of those Amazon drones, or talk of delivering Amazon delivering through drone and not having the trucks anymore. They'll just drop the package to your front yard or backyard or whatever. So we have an article on that today. And part of our technology segment, we gonna watch a little bit about it. And it'll actually look pretty cool. I like how they, training the people. They have a base over in Arizona. And also we're gonna cover Arizona is becoming a very hot spot for technology nowadays. And so is Austin, obviously. We learned that most people, and this is unfortunate for California, right? Most people and companies are moving out of California, been moving out of California. Unfortunately, with this fire, California is under a lot of attention now. And when you're under a microscope, some of your problems are going to show as well, right? So California's problems and issues are also being magnified at this point, which is a lot of companies left California. So a lot of money is living California. Why, you might ask? Again, it comes down to the policies, the laws that are being put in place, and the government not leading properly. So you have a lot of people, including Joe Rogan, a whole lot of comedians, a whole lot of actors, a whole lot of companies, tech companies, moving out of California to Texas. And now, as this video is about to show you, also you're going to see that they're moving a lot of their companies over to Arizona. So let's take a quick look at, this is the drone here. You guys take a good look at the drone. So this is an Amazon delivery drone, right? Let's watch a little bit on that, and then we'll give you a little bit more on what's going on in Arizona as on the technology department, right?
In addition to autonomous vehicles, Phoenix is now seeing automation take to the skies. In November, Amazon received regulatory approval to launch its Prime Air drone program in Tolleson, a suburb in West Phoenix.
We don't see this as a test. This is just the first integration into an Amazon fulfillment center, and we'll start scaling way beyond here.
Will everybody be able to get a drone delivery at their house, or what's this going to look like?
That's the plan. So for us, scale is 500 million deliveries a year. We want to make this delivery method available to customers all around the world.
Drone delivery has been a long-time focus for the company, which first unveiled plans for that concept more than a decade ago.
Your family has decided you want to order Jenga. Added to my cart, delivery by drone. You place the order like you would at any other package.
Okay.
And you just place
delivered by 3/11,
Yep.
so 61 minutes. Delivery with drone, it says clearly you have to pay $9.99.
Yep.
Is there ever a time where this will be part of the Prime subscription? Okay.
We're working through it.
Looking to build a chatbot for your website?
So as you can see, the drone looked pretty nice. I gotta be honest. The drone did look pretty nice. Now, problem, right? It's probably gonna be people in homes first, right? People that have a yard, a front yard, or a backyard. I can even imagine eventually them having to buy like a drone delivery pad, you know, somewhere where the drone could drop the package and is safe instead of dropping it on, you know, landing on your front porch, or because it's a sizable drone, so it probably won't be able to fit certain places. We probably gotta have to keep an open space, right? An open space where the drone could drop the delivery. I'm thinking that's probably what's gonna happen. And apartments eventually probably will have a drone delivery area where they just drop everything in there, and then I guess the tenants will be able to walk in that area, or they'll probably have somebody that works there organize the packages. You know, the possibilities are endless, but it's very encouraging to see, because we've heard about it, right? As the video said, we've heard about it for a very long time. The video says 10 years, but you know, we've heard about it for a very long time. I can't say 10 years, probably 5-6 years. And we always wonder how it's gonna work, how it's gonna look. If it's gonna look like the normal drone with all the propellers, or something like this, which looks like a robot almost.
Suhang will pick the order down the bottom here. It'll say it's a drone order. Those boxes have a dampering mechanism inside that we call a trampoline. It actually is dampened when it falls from the drone. From the moment you clicked to the moment she's picked and packed, that's 15 minutes.
I was wondering how they're gonna deliver it, right? Because we just spoke about having a little landing area. So it seems like they drop it. They drop it, and I guess there's something in the box that kind of protect the product. But my point still remain. You probably gonna need a safe, clear area that doesn't have trees or flowers or bushes or uh anything that's gonna stop the drone from getting closer to the ground. Because I'm sure they're not dropping it from very high, but we'll see. Hopefully they
We
show
call it
us.
Prime Air Drone Delivery Centre. This facility, as is set up to do hundreds of deliveries a day.
So that's how they fit it in there.
Design here, 6 propellers. It looks like.
There's 6 of them. We've designed the system in its entirety. If we lose a motor, we can fly on the other 5 and come home safely. The props were designed by us to reduce noise. 6 cameras, that's how we know what's happening around us and what's happening underneath us.
Okay.
This drone, as compared to our previous drone, is half the cost, flies twice the distance, and is half as loud. We have 2 takeoff pads and you have a couple of landing pads at the back here. Those pads will continue to cycle 5, 6, 7 years out. We'll have this drone and we'll have other drones to do other missions. This is just the beginning.
I like it. I like it. I like it. As I said, it's been a dream for a while, right? We all probably thought about, hey, my package coming through a drone and it's dropping it off. We've seen commercials with, I think, McDonald's or food delivery, but I think the Amazon is a more realistic first integration of the drone delivering packages to private homes and businesses. I think that is I think that's more of a more feasible idea. So let me show y'all a little bit about what else, right, is moving from California to Arizona, right?
Phoenix has become a major semiconductor manufacturing hub. It all started with Intel.
Intel started here in the 1970s and then grew with its first fab at the Chandler Boulevard campus in the 1980s. And then in the early 1990s, they purchased their Ocotillo campus. So at all said and done, Intel's made about a $30 billion capital investment in the metropolitan Phoenix area. They currently employ about 12,000 people.
In 2020, Intel completed a new 1.3 million square foot fab at its Ocotillo campus in Chandler and has plans to invest another $20 billion, building 2 more fabs at the site.
$20 billion, right? In addition to what they already have there. And as historically, we all know that California, Silicon Valley used to be the hub for all the bigger tech companies, Google, Facebook, everybody had their offices in Silicon Valley. But it's happened that California's policies, California, the people don't even want to live there anymore. The people that was running these companies, especially during COVID, right? They all moved to Texas. They went working from home. So these companies are like, hey, let's move to friendlier states that are cost friendly. And a lot of people are moving to Texas and Arizona. So we're going to have the workforce. A lot of people that work at these companies in California are moving to Arizona, Texas, Florida, Hawaii. They are moving away from California to these places. So they will have the workforce. And that's what's going on with California now. So good for Arizona. It is a beautiful place. They are going to get a lot more people. They are getting a lot of people moving. So a lot of jobs that are being produced there is going to be appreciated. And it sucks for California.
Right.
Once you're in one location, it makes a lot of sense to add more scale to that location. Semiconductors has a very multifaceted, very big supply chain of equipment, chems and gases, all that need to go in those manufacturings. Once that's in one location, it makes it a lot more attractive for the next company to come.
But the semiconductor world has been abuzz with a new entrant into the area, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, which makes the most advanced chips in the world.
TSMC is really a once-in-a-generation economic development project. This is a $65 billion factory that's building the most world-class chips that go into everything from strike fighters to computers.
We spent 21 and the better part of 22 building this facility. All of 23 we moved in the tool.
See, that's usually, in normal circumstances, these companies will go to California. But where are they at now? Where are they going? They're mostly going to Texas and Arizona.
And in 24, we began engineering pilot runs.
TSMC initially held discussions with the city of Phoenix back in 2016 when it was looking to expand more of its chip manufacturing beyond Taiwan. In order to secure the bid, the Greater Phoenix Economic Council spent 3 years conceptualizing a science and technology park that met the needs of TSMC and its partners.
In Taiwan, they're in the middle of science and tech parks. They really believe in having their suppliers and their vendors and their engineering companies and other like-minded companies where they can walk across the street, where they can go grab a cup of coffee.
The city was ultimately selected for TSMC's first advanced chip fabrication plant in the U.S. The site, set on a sprawling 1,000-plus acres in northern Phoenix, includes a recently completed fab manufacturing 4-nanometer chips with 2 additional fabs under construction that will make more advanced 2-nanometer chips and beyond.
When their original look at Phoenix, it was a $12 billion capital investment and has now moved into a $65 billion capital investment.
I led the site selection team around the U.S., and one of the things that Phoenix did better than any other location, it has a 100-year plan for water. And one of the reasons that we selected Phoenix is it's got redundant power.
Our power companies have a 99.9%.
Does that ring a bell, guys? Phoenix got water. Who's having water problems? California's having a whole bunch of water problems. And no plan on fixing it. Matter of fact, as we learned earlier this week, the governor had a plan on his table and did not sign it because who knows? They had a plan to bring water from the northern area down to the valley, down to all the areas that are needing water, that are dry a lot of the year when there's no rain. He didn't sign it. So as you can see here, the gentleman that was in charge of selecting the site for these companies to go to say, hey, Arizona has a very good plan, 100+ years plan for water and energy. And their tax is a lot lower. Cost of living is, they probably spent a fraction of the price they're going to spend in California to build this facility. They got space. They got water. The city has a plan. And it's all affordable. So it's a no-brainer to go to Texas, to go to Arizona.
Up time, these semiconductor companies that can be, $50 million a minute if they have downtime for a loss of power.
In the Arizona desert, water is still a scarce commodity, and chip manufacturing takes a lot of it. The state recently restricted housing development in Phoenix, citing dwindling groundwater supply.
We are working on an industrial reclamation water center. When we get that in place, we will have near zero discharge to waste, which means basically the only water we'll lose is through evaporation.
Now Phoenix is close to breaking ground on the science and technology park it pitched to the company.
That tech park will break ground here in early 2025. At ultimate build-out, we expect about 62,000 jobs surrounding TSMC and including TSMC.
They're basically duplicating the science park concept that was pioneered in Taiwan. And what that does is it solves lots of problems for our smaller suppliers because they don't have to buy land, they don't have to put the infrastructure in place. They can actually rent space and just plug in and they can be here with us.
Arizona now is definitely going to be known as one of the places to get leading edge semiconductors in the United States.
So there you go. They're building chip plants now in Arizona. Technology companies that would initially be going to California is in Arizona. And before we leave the technology segment, we want to show you one more part of what Arizona is gaining and California is losing, right?
Ever wonder how constitutional carry affects your right to...
So basically, self-driving cars, right, is the future as well. Now you call it Uber, it might, it used to be in California, those companies would go to California. If you order Uber, you get it. They do have them, right? But Google, one of the biggest self-driving testers, right, in the market of self-driving cars. So they're testing self-driving cars for Uber. They're using Arizona as a testing ground. And take a look.
For more advanced driverless cars, over the years, Uber, Cruise, and Waymo have tested their autonomous vehicles in the city.
We're a sandbox for autonomous vehicle testing. It's also long-haul trucks, so 18-wheelers down the freeway. We've got companies that are testing between Phoenix and Tucson.
Just the infrastructure of Phoenix, like the gridded street environment, is quite good for testing. The weather is good for testing. It just made a pretty optimal place to test a lot of these autonomous vehicles.
Waymo, formerly Google's self-driving car project, is the biggest player. The company began testing its autonomous vehicles on the city's streets back in 2017.
We brought in our streets department and our police department, and I'll be honest with you, in the very beginning, they looked at Mayor Gallego and I like we had 6 heads. They're like, you want to do what? Where?
Waymo first launched its commercial robo-taxi service in Phoenix. It now operates across 315 square miles in the city.
We are the first airport in the world that you can be picked up or dropped off in a fully autonomous experience.
If we look now, just total number of robo-taxi miles driven, Phoenix is above and beyond other markets. People are doing it in a lot of markets now, but Phoenix is.
Now, not to be funny, guys, I don't trust these cars. It would feel weird to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not I was born not in the internet era, right? Internet era. I was prior to internet era. I was already here when the internet got here. I was already here when social media got here. So we're used to the yellow cabs in New York, New Jersey. We're used to the bus. But self-driving car is a scary thing for me. But y'all let me know. Would y'all step in one of those? I mean, after testing, obviously, after we're told it's safe, I'll still have a little issue. I'll still be a little weirded out by it.
Still the biggest area, the most miles driven.
One of the main reasons for its success, policy. Phoenix and Arizona have been welcoming to AV testing.
If you go back even to like 2015, when the technology was pretty nascent and still developing, then Governor Ducey did a lot of executive orders which really reduced barriers, allowing companies to test these vehicles on public streets.
Autonomous vehicle testing in the city was nearly derailed following the 2018 self-driving Uber accident where a test vehicle with a safety driver struck and killed a pedestrian. Following the incident, the company halted testing in the city and ultimately sold off its self-driving division, with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration condemning the lack of state and federal regulation for testing autonomous vehicles.
See what I was talking about? See what I was talking about? Yeah, man. Imagine being in that car and you hit something. I'm sure you're not held liable, but still, it's a traumatic situation. But they have it down. More of the story is Arizona is putting the policies. Arizona is putting the safety laws, and they're having their police department work directly with the company to kind of make sure and help facilitate and the safety of the public. Shout out to Arizona, and obviously shout out to Texas. Great, very good places. If you want to move now, because clearly prices will be going up, and then it's gonna start getting expensive to live in those areas. We'll keep an eye on these stories developing, and we'll update you obviously when things with more technology news and technology innovations, companies that are doing great things in the technology department. To wrap up today, guys, as you know, we love watching some great YouTube videos on relationship, couples, and how relationship works. Watching how couples interact on these online gaming shows, right? So let's do this. Today we're gonna switch it up a little bit. I know I usually do Pop the Balloon, or I usually do watch Gold Digger videos with Namir or the other gentleman. And there's a lot of them that do it, but I usually pick Namir because he's usually funny. He usually gets to the point, right? We are watching Kendra G. I find this show as interesting, just as interesting, if not a little bit more interesting, because her setup is a little bit one-on-one, and I like it. You know, she has conversation, asks questions, and you could kind of sense what's going on in some of these people's life that's causing or that's facilitating their single lives, right? Let's start with this story here. We're gonna watch it for the first time together. I've watched another episode with a gentleman. I'll play that next time. I'll find it again and play that. But we're gonna watch this for the first time together. We're gonna react to it. Let's give it a shot.
Girl.
Hey, cousins.
Starting out hot. Veronica.
I done met a man by the name of Rudy who said, hold on.
Child, you and everybody else.
Hold on, Veronica, because I got to do you the way I did him. Is this your husband?
Soon to be ex.
Excuse me.
But yes, I know him. I do.
Is this your wife?
Legally, yes.
This is your wife. You guys aren't divorced.
No.
She said that.
And you're on dating
divorced.
show. Hold up, Hey. She's for the street. He's for the streets. They both trying to figure it out. That's crazy. Finding your wife on a dating site, right?
We have our first mediation April 4th.
So you are still legally married to him?
Unfortunately, yes.
So you lied to us?
I didn't lie to you. So here's the thing. I didn't know there's no shade to you. I didn't know who you were. I'd never seen your show. It was the first time I ever joined your show. Somebody kept sending me the link.
Girl, that don't got nothing to do with a question of you.
I didn't know. This is what I'm saying is I didn't know your requirements to be on the show was like, oh, you.
But that don't matter anyways.
So okay.
The question,
yes.
So you lied because the question was, are you divorced? Hold on. Whether you knew me or not, it ain't about shade. Questions are questions, and the direct question was, are you divorced? You said, hold on. Let me finish.
Okay, let's roll with it.
Let me finish, Veronica. I'm gonna let you respond, but I gotta finish.
I gotta
we
finish.
Have a grown woman talk.
Yeah.
Because you want to start off lying again.
Uh-huh.
Now here's the response. Yes.
You speaking to a smart individual, right? You gotta let her speak, and she's gonna let you speak. That's how that's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? You lied. That's just simple. Now, I'm sure you could explain there's, we're not together, blah, blah, but you lied. Let's start with that.
I don't give a damn if you never heard of me. The question is simple. I asked you were you divorced, and then I asked you when you got divorced. Okay, 2 minutes. Have you ever been married?
I have, yeah. Divorced.
When did you get to say again, honey?
I'm divorced.
Divorced. When did you get divorced?
That's clearly a lie, right?
Last June 2023.
So you said June. So that's why I said, do she think she's really divorced? So regardless of you met me from that day, the question was direct and clear. Are you divorced? When did you get divorced? The reason I asked the when is because people like yourself can be separated at times. So I asked the when. And then I think we brought it up 2 times. So you should just admit you lied.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I lied.
Okay, that's fine. I wasn't.
Well, that's it. You just admitted you lied. That's it. It's fine. It's okay. We're gonna get to finding your man, but you lie. And it's okay. I like that she's holding her accountable for not being upfront with her situation, but you lie.
Completely clear about my divorce date, but yeah, in my mind,
you're not divorced. You don't have a divorce date.
You thought you were divorced. You think you're divorced?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's living with his ex-wife. He's living with his first wife. Like, you left here a year ago. And unfortunately, it's a technicality because in South Carolina, you have to be separated for a year before you can file for divorce. Now, we were going to falsify and file in Florida and say that, hey,
we were going to falsify. So now you're admitting you were going to break the law. Y'all don't want to be together that bad that you're going to break the law and they will catch you. That's paperwork. It's not grabbing a candy bar or, walking out on a bill. You know what I'm saying? Still bad, childish. But this is things that involve paperwork. You cannot, when it comes to the law, when it comes to court, paperwork is king. You cannot beat paperwork.
he was going to file in Florida so we can have an immediate divorce. But because of other things on his part, he decided, no, I'm going to try to file in South Carolina, or we would have already been divorced. This is just a drag out thing. But we don't speak. We don't talk. We have no interaction. We are done. We have nothing to talk. We have no kids. We have no ties.
That doesn't mean you're divorced. That doesn't mean you're divorced. That means you're not living together. You're separated. You're separated. That's what that's called.
Nothing together. We are done completely. But yeah,
let me ask you this.
That's fine.
No, what was you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, but that's fine. I'll let you hold that. That's okay. Yeah, technically yes. I'm technically yes, still married.
So were you aware that you had a mediation in April?
Yes, I'm aware.
So then you knew when you talked to me that you were still married.
I literally just got the letter for the mediation in the mail.
That's not what she's saying. She's saying you were married.
So when you talked to me, but what I'm saying is, if you knew you had a mediation, you knew you were.
I didn't know that. I just got it today.
So you had no idea you had a mediation in April.
I just got it today.
She lying again, right? Can you tell she lying? And it's okay. She's a little embarrassed about it because Kendra is a dating style show where you're looking for love, you're looking for a partner. So naturally, you're gonna have to be single. You can't be married, but we understand the underlying problem is girl, you are a liar. So that's probably what she's pointing out. She's already figuring out the issue of why you're single. You're single because you as a woman are not, your words don't mean much, right? Your words are not solid. So clearly that's going to create, and it's not a big deal, right? But in a relationship, when your word is not what it is, it creates frustration, which leads to arguments, which leads to you saying, okay, I'm going to stop or I'm going to change this thing and not doing it, right? Lying again, being unreliable again, right? That's going to cause any relationship to fail. So, from what we're seeing right now, we can already tell she has some growing up to do, some taking accountability to do.
Did you, let me ask you this. When you talk to me, if a guy proposed to you, did you feel as though you could legally marry him?
Nobody would propose to me. Hence why I said I want to take my time.
I'm asking you, if a guy proposed to you, would you feel as though you were able to legally marry him?
Sure. I would say you just have to wait till after June. We can get married, but it have to be after June.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
You know what, Veronica, you trying to answer around these questions.
Yeah.
I'm not
that's
answering you asking me. I'm answering the question.
No.
You see the problem? She's not answering. She thinks she could finagle her way, outspeak, and that's the problem in a lot of situationships, right? A lot of relationships is that as a woman, some women, right, feel like, not all, clearly, because some guys are the same way, right? It's just a type of person, right? It's a type of behavior. It's not a gender thing. It's a behavior thing, right? Some people don't want to take accountability, don't want to grow up, don't want to realize my behavior, me being dismissive, not listening, always feeling like I have to win an argument is not good for a relationship. And you can already tell she's very defensive about her lying, making excuses for lying. And in her mind, she did nothing wrong. When you're asked a question on a dating show, if you're single or if you're married and you lie about it.
Somebody proposed.
So you're right. So therefore you knew that.
Kendra, they would already know, like, hey, listen, here's my situation. Here's what really happened. Here's the story. Here's what's gone on. If you're trying to propose, we can get married. But unfortunately, until after this date, June 18th of 2024, my court date is not, we're not legally divorced until then.
So,
because we have to
Veronica, either way, why not just say you were separated when I asked you when you were divorced?
In my mind, we're divorced. We're divorced. And it will all, it's going to all come out in the wash because in case.
In my mind, you heard that? In my mind, we're divorced. In my mind, we're divorced. That your mind, and I understand your mind is your mind. You have your mind. You're entitled to your mind. But it's not law. It's not facts. You see what I'm saying? And to anybody that would be offensive. And I can understand how Kendra is taking offense to that because I asked you directly. And you choose to lie about it. And you still think it's okay because in your mind, you think you did the right thing. So she has some growing up to do, some learning about how the normal social norms and dating, and she has some growing up to do.
I don't know if you didn't see all of the messages, but all of this there's been
and she don't look young.
Women who've been commenting on your TikTok, your Instagram, and your YouTube about their relationships with him during our marriage, the relationships that they had with him during our marriage.
But here's the deal. He didn't come on my show. And all I care about is coming on my show. I can't, listen, I don't know you and I don't know Rudy.
That's right.
On my show, but the rule of my show, it's a very clear rule. If you're separated, wait till you're officially divorced and you can come back
again.
On.
And like I said, I didn't know that.
So what he's doing and what y'all doing, that's really y'all business. But when you come on my show, you make it my business. Now, if he would have called me and I would have asked him, is he still married? And he would have said he's separated. I would say, well, we can't continue because that's the rule. But let's go on. I want you to fact check some other things that he said. Do you have 3 children?
She said she had 2 kids. She has 3 kids. She has a daughter who's 26. She has a granddaughter.
So she makes a habit of lying. So she probably have a kid that with someone that she don't really want to talk to, or don't, had the kid young. She want to write the kid off. So mentally, in her head, she had 2 kids with probably the person she was married to before him. Anyone could map this out very easily, right? Anyone could map this out very easily because it's obvious. The girl probably didn't want him to know I got 3 kids by 2 baby daddies, and hey, I got 2 kids with my baby dad. And the other kid probably got rid of him, probably with the father or the father's family, and we're not counting that one.
Who's 10, so that was inconsistent.
Some commercials, YouTube.
I do have 2 boys.
2 boys. How old are your boys? Huh?
17 and 10.
17 and 10. Are they both by the same man?
No, they're not. Here's the thing with a lot of that stuff. So because it has now become a legal matter, because as you know, in the state of South Carolina, libel and slander is punishable by misdemeanor fines. There can be civil ramifications.
Do you have 3 children, Veronica?
It is. I never said that I didn't. I have 3 children. And
I asked you how many kids you had. You said.
Whoa. You ready to use the court, but you're a liar. So you're going to lose. You're just wasting this man time, energy, and money.
You had 2.
First of all, children to me they're children. I have an adult child who is not in my household. So when you say children, if a man is going to date me, he's going to date me and my 2 children. The 2 children I have in my home.
Oh, okay. Do you see how she rationalizing her lying? And anyone smart like this beautiful professional woman here, right, Kendra? You'll be able to tell. It'll be obvious to you. Because you're used to having normal conversation with normal people. And then comes her just spewing the inconsistency, the lie, the weird verbiage, and the weird logic. In her mind, she's making all the sense because her logic makes sense. I don't have 3 kids. I only live with 2 kids. But you do have 3 children. You just live with 2. But
I have a child who has lived in my house in 10 years. She's 27 years old. She's almost 30. That is an adult.
Like with women, I have to ask the most direct question to get an honest answer. So do I have to start saying how many children have come out, how many people have come out your body in order to get the real answer? Like I have to really go that
or maybe
basic?
just in total. But when you're saying children, because if you're on a dating show and somebody's going to date you, they're going to date your children. I have an adult child, and she's not a secret. On my social media page,
now she's gonna say, I have her all over my mouth. She's not a secret. No one is saying you keeping your daughter a secret. No one is saying anything negative about your daughter. What we're saying is when we asked you the question, a specific question of how many kids do you have? You left her out. You said 2. You got 3. Clearly, you have some, and it's okay. Single mothers, shout out to all you guys. Some of y'all are very stand up. Some of y'all are good mothers, good parents, proud, take their job very seriously. And some and I'm not speaking on her parenting, right? But some are not proud of it. They're not proud of being mothers. It's not a calling for them. It's not a serious job for them. So, in turn, creates this embarrassing feeling where I don't want to say I have 3 kids. Because to me, it sounds a lot. So, the one I don't like his dad, I'm going to chop him out. Or the one, I was embarrassed a little bit because he kind of just dip and never pay attention to the kid. I'm gonna erase that one, But kids are not erasable. Once you make the decision to have that kid is in your life, is your job, is your everything. Regardless of if the father's there, if the father's gone, if the father's in the baby's life, if the father's not in the baby's life, it's still your kid. But some women will treat their kids differently depending on the relationship or lack of relationship with the children's father. And I think that's wrong. I think it's silly, but I think it's a bigger issue. It has more to do with confidence, self-worth, self-respect, right? It has a lot to do with more of these things. Because if you respect yourself, you have confidence, and you're not gonna be feeling or thinking about, oh, people gonna think bad about me because the father is not there. The people gonna think bad about me because I don't know who the father, or the father's gone, say he want nothing to do with me, hasn't given me no support for the kid, etc. You're not gonna, because you're gonna, first of all, you're gonna be aware of the decision you're making when you're making that decision. You're gonna know, okay, I'm married and we're having a kid. We might get divorced. Things might go left. You know which relationship you're in. Or I'm not married. This is just the homeboy. You understand the different situations. And you understand not to put yourself in certain situations. So I'm not blaming her, calling her a bad mom, or putting anything on her. But clearly that's a problem. And I appreciate Kendra for kind of like pressing her and really showing her, hey, shorty, you could have just told us the truth. You could just be honest. You don't have to hide a kid or say you don't erase the kid from your list of kids. So you have 3 kids, not 2.
Page, my grandchild and my child are both on my social media. You listed all throughout my page.
Let me ask you this.
So there was no denial about that.
How many people have come out of your body?
3.
So that's how I have to start asking women questions, obviously.
That's how you would like to phrase. That's how you would like to phrase your question.
How many people have come out of your body in order to get the real number of how many people you birthed? That's really sad that I have to go that deep with a 43-year-old woman.
It's not sad. It's not sad. Now, do you want to have the conversation?
She let you speak. Let her speak. And she's the host. This is not an argument with your homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Your homegirl. Let her speak. And that's another thing. It tells you a lot when someone does not have the courtesy of hearing you. You know what I'm saying?
You were 21. You didn't have this energy.
Veronica, if you were 21, I would expect that.
So have the correct energy for me, because I didn't come at you wrong like that, Kendra. You coming at me with all this extra
the energy right
it's
now
unnecessary. It's unnecessary.
Here's the
It's
deal.
unnecessary. It really is. It's
Here's the
unnecessary.
deal, Veronica.
Somebody was allowed to come onto your
whether you
platform
listen,
and
we can't
slander
both talk.
somebody.
We can't both talk.
You're absolutely right. We can't. So go ahead. Go ahead. It's your
Here's
platform.
the deal. Whether you knew me or not, you call me. I don't know you if you never call me. Rule number one, plain and simple. You decided to call me. Once you call me, you make your business our business, the cousin's business watching. Now, I'm just going to say, I had no idea that I had to ask a 43-year-old woman how many people came out of her body in order to get the real answer of how many people she.
She's been like that all her life and never grew out of it. Never grew out of it. I understand it's embarrassing, so you're going to get tense. You're going to get a little upset, but you could tell she's very combative. You're not letting the lady speak. You making weird comments. Her points are valid. She asked you a plain question. You didn't answer it. You lied. And then she pointed it out to you. Now you're saying she's coming with extra stuff. The extra stuff is your kid.
Birth, because children, she's past that age. That to me, if you were 21, I would expect this dialogue. But to be a woman that's 1 year younger than me, that's kind of sad and pathetic, just being honest.
But that's your opinion. But I don't have, this is a grown woman. This is an adult who doesn't live in my home, who hasn't lived in my home in probably almost 10 years. She hasn't lived in my home. So when you say children, to me, that is a child. If somebody is going to interact with me, they're interacting with two children who are actually in my home. This is an adult who lives 5 states away. I don't consider that to be a child. I've never neglected her. She's very much a part of she's on my social media. Like, it's not like I'm negating the fact that I ever have had a child. So, and that's a technicality. Here's another thing. Oh, she lives here and not here. Hello. Nobody ever says, I might as well just drop the pin and gave my address. I'm in this area. You don't exactly say, hey, this is where I am. It's like somebody who lives in Hollywood. You don't know where Hollywood, Florida is. So you would say, oh, I'm in the Miami area. Oh, I'm in Miami. Because most people know that as a landmark. That's not a lie. For safety reasons, you don't say, especially when you live in a small town, oh, I live here. So some of these things were so petty, and the fact that you was just like followed up on them, it was just absurd to me. But again, slander and libel is a real thing, and in the state of South Carolina, it is considered a misdemeanor. It is, and I have to be cautious on what I say because the matter now is with my attorney. However, a lot of that stuff was false and incorrect, and there are women who have been trying to reach out to you who also have receipts and pictures and videos that are timestamped during the time of our marriage, who can attest to saying, hey, the reason for the divorce.
I already addressed that. The bottom line is this. I don't know. You and Rudy called me. That's just the fact.
Right, but what did you address?
Hold on, let me finish. Let me respond to what you just said. I'm not saying Rudy is this Prince Charming man, out rightfully so. But the point of the matter is Rudy did not call on my show and tell me that he was not married and I proceeded. That's all that matters. Now, what y'all do in y'all life, that's your business. I'm not here to defend his character.
What's going on there? Is she checking out? Is she checking out, chat?
He didn't try to call me to be a guest on my show. If you want to fact check, there's another. You're busy? Hello? Hello?
Her headphone probably died.
Working hard, but something's holding you back.
So yeah, guys. So her headphone probably died. And again, for the commercial, apologies. But
I do want to preface it. I was in.
But you could tell she's a problem. She's her words are not what they are. And it's tough to live with people like that. It's tough.
Pajamas. I just got out of the shower and I was in pajamas, but okay. Well, I didn't say pajamas, but sweat.
All your tattoos are real? Oh, you have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah, they are all real.
Okay, you have a nice body.
I do want to answer this real quick though. You could tell this is my natural body. Everybody's got something to say. Everything matches, and you could tell. And if you can go look at my social media, and you can tell I've been like this all my life. I'm Afro Latina, and if y'all know, Latin women and Black women are naturally built this way. So yeah.
Okay, so anybody that had concerns about her body, it is authentic.
It's real.
She's never had no body surgery.
Okay.
This is the body. She got it from her mama and her daddy.
My mama on my social media, you can see her too. Miss Olivia was a hottie in her day too. So I have to be very cautious about what I say because again, it's at this point it's a legal matter because
well, you call me girl, so what you call me for? I'm asking you questions, so you don't want to answer that?
So
because that was something.
Hold on.
Something you
got a little too much
offered.
dip on your chip.
Let her speak, shorty. Come on.
Kendra, like don't have that energy with me. Like you didn't have that energy with me.
Well, no, Veronica, I'm gonna have that energy with you because I'm getting irritated because the fact.
Let her speak. Let her speak. Shorty in the yellow, Veronica, you gotta stop and let the host make her point, and then you make your point. You know what I'm saying?
Fact of the matter is, you called me lying. You called me lying. So if you don't expect this type of energy, I don't know what you would expect. You literally called and told lies on my show. This is a major show.
But did I tell the lies?
Yeah.
You don't know that. You're at this point, you're calling me a liar, and you don't know if I did.
Veronica, just two different. Veronica, are you a part of this interview? Are you a part of this interview?
Are you a part of it? Because it seems like this is the Kendra.
Okay, Veronica,
what is this is come on, Veronica. This is as ignorant as it gets, shorty. You gotta be able to be quiet and let the host speak. Let her ask you a question. Wait for your opportunity, then speak. Wait till she's done, then speak. Come on, girl.
Listen, honey. I'm not gonna play these games with you. You just admitted to two lies in this interview.
How is that a lie? That is not a.
You admitted to two lies, shorty. You lied twice. But we understand.
You admitted that you are married and you told us that you were divorced. That's a lie. That's not what's going on here? Okay, that's an admission of lying.
Anything else is not a lie. Like you don't just like when you come out on a public platform, for me to say, oh, I live here but not here. I live.
Okay, that's okay. We're not talking about that. I didn't even bring that up. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the basic where everything begins is you said you were divorced and you are legally married, and that is a lie. We can fact check the fact that you are legally married. You told a lie, Veronica.
That's fine. If that's not what you want to roll with, that's okay. But so we're not.
It's not what I'm rolling with. It's just the fact of
it's the fact of the matter.
That's fine. So we're not going to roll. We're not going to talk about any of the lies that Rudy told because Rudy came on here and just lied.
It's not about Rudy. It's about you, shorty. We're talking about you right now. And we can see already why things didn't work out. Woody, poor Woody, probably does. I'm not saying Woody is a perfect guy, but clearly, she didn't do her part of being a sensible woman.
Lied, and he was allowed to just talk openly for 20 minutes, and you never interrupted him. You never gave him this hostile energy. This man was allowed to come onto your platform, and say whatever he wanted to say. Libel, slander, was able to come on here and say whatever he wanted to say.
Well, like I said with Rudy, and I said it several times, I have to use allegedly because he said something about a video, and he was ready to show the video. Now, I didn't allow him to show the video. I don't know if
that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
You guys haven't spoken since July of last year, like no communication.
Well, that's when she sent me the video of her having a threesome with a chick going down on her and a dude in the background. What?
Right now, those are some tough allegations. Now I have to use the word allegedly because I don't know if that's a true. She sent you a video. No, you're not gonna. I'm gonna prohibit you from showing the video. Yeah. So I'm going to prohibit you from showing the video. We won't do that.
My boy got the video now. So why would she do that? Right? The women in the chat, please. The women in the comments, please let me know. Why do you think she would do that? Other than being a very mean, nasty person. Why would you take a sex tape and then send it to your husband. Right? So you can see already, now we're finding all of this out, but from the get-go, we kind of saw her attitude, demeanor, ways of communicating. You could already tell she's defensive. She's, it's okay to defend yourself, right? But not in the manner she was doing it, right? It's okay to defend yourself. It's okay to stand up for yourself. But the manner in which she chose to defend herself just didn't look good.
We won't do that. We won't do that. We won't do that. But do you want to right now say if that video exists?
The video exists, and it was after the fact, the date that we are legally separated. The paperwork that says gives the date of the date that we are considered by the court legally separated. That video occurred after we were legally separated.
Okay. All right.
Now,
have you ever had body surgery?
His indiscretions. I have to be cautious. I have to be cautious. Like I said, I can't say a whole lot because it's with my attorney. But there are several women who have tried to reach out to you who want to come on the platform and say,
okay, well, they can. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You got to understand this. You could be in your emotions and you could be in your feelings.
I'm not.
But I'm trying to do the listen and talk back rule because we can't talk over each other. But the fact of the matter is, Rudy, again, and I said to him, I don't know him, I don't know you, it's y'all word against y'all. But the fact of the matter is, you just admitted that he is still legally your husband. And that's why he came on to expose the truth. Now, I'm asking you this question 3 times. I'm going to ask it again.
Okay.
Because you volunteered. You actually volunteered this. Hold on one second.
She's asking the question.
I never asked women if they had body surgery, first of all.
Hold on,
Veronica, let the lady speak. She can let her speak. She has to make her point, right?
Veronica, let me finish my statement. I never asked women if they had body surgery. You decided to volunteer that your body was natural. You got it from your mama.
I do want to answer this real quick, though. You could tell this is my natural body. Everybody's got something to say. Everything matches, and you could tell. And if you can go look at my social media, and you can tell I've been like this all my life.
I'll beat your Facebook ads ROAS using YouTube.
And she didn't say anything wrong because she's just supporting the lady. She's supporting the girl, saying, okay, the host have a big smile on her face. Pretty much, believe her. But she's lying again. They're catching you lying.
Have you ever had any type of surgery or lipo?
And again, I have to be cautious of what I say because everything.
Kendra, I'm sorry, mama. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. I'm sorry you had to experience that. 43 years old. Still acting like you're 18, 19. I wouldn't even say 2021 because 2021, you have to have some type of growing up happening. You know what I'm saying?
This video has been downloaded and sent to my attorney, and I do have an attorney.
Why can't you answer that simple question, though, Veronica?
Because I have to be cautious about what I say.
You have to be cautious of whether or not you had surgery.
I have to be cautious about what I say because again,
I know, but I'm just saying, why can't you? I mean, first of all, hold on. Let me ask you this though. Let me just say this, but let me say this so I can understand. I never was gonna ask you if you had body surgery. I don't ask women that question. Hold on, let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish.
She won't let him finish. She won't let her finish. She won't let her finish.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Show you treat them differently. Anytime
you are a case.
That has nothing to do with other people being treated differently. Now she's pointing finger. You She's calling you out on the things you've said that are not true. She's making connections that you don't want to connect, you don't want to see. And that's part of growing up. If you can't see the connections, see what's not working, what's not being what's not working on in your favor, right? Clearly, this behavior is not good for her. It probably runs into her life at work, her life in her personal relationship, clearly, her life with her kids, with her friends and family. That's probably a behavior she is so comfortable with and don't care about changing. So, on Kendra's show is the perfect show for her because she is single and she will be single for however long until whoever chooses to be with her. But come on, girl. Grow up a little bit.
Veronica, you are separate right now. What are you talking about? I'm asking you to. This is your chance.
I'm telling you facts.
Wait, hold
Now,
on.
you allow
Veronica, I want to continue, but we're not going to continue like this if you're not going to admit. As I say, I never asked women if they had surgery. You offered to volunteer that your body was natural. So if you offered to volunteer that your body was natural, why can't you just admit to it or not admit to it right now?
And there's nothing wrong with surgery, right? There's nothing wrong with surgery. If you feel like you got to change something, it's your body, your money, your doctor, your right. But you volunteered to stun on all of us. Hey, I look good, no surgery. You did that. You volunteered to us. We didn't ask you. We didn't want to know. You told us these other women, that look like this might have had surgery, but I'm me. This is my mother. You could see. You're a liar, girl. And now you're upset that the conversation is not going your way. And so now you acting like this. You acting a fool.
So I just want to understand this. At first, you were caught up on the fact that, well, are you married or are you not married? Your man came on here and said he was this, he was that. And so you're not allowing me to speak to anything. What you're concerned about is what you're concerned about. And I get it. This is entertainment for you and you want rating.
She's just silly, man.
No, I'm just trying to get fact checked. I'm just trying to get fact checked.
You want the mess and you want the tea. What you don't want to do is,
girlfriend, you call me. I don't know you. I don't want the mess of the tea. Y'all call me up. I don't call nobody, honey. I call no one. You called me. Plain and simple. What I'm doing right now is I'm asking fact check questions.
Right.
Like I said,
so
hold on, let me say it again.
Okay, but did you fact check him? Did you fact check him when he came on your show? Did you fact check him?
But that has nothing to do with him. You're here right now, shorty. You're the one that's in our face right now. We're asking you questions. So she had surgeries, guys. so she had the BBL and the lipo or whatever else she got done. Because it's her right. But, most episodes are not like this. I played this episode today because I haven't seen it before. And it looked like something very different. It looked like, hey, it's gonna be an interesting, loud fight. Exactly what it is. Exactly what it is now. I felt like that's probably. But most episode with Kendra is a woman come on there or a guy come on there, explain what they like, explain what they want, and then they figure it out because I believe she has a dating app as well. So they try to connect, kind of like a matchmaker, but she says she's not a matchmaker, but in that format. But this right here, they didn't get past the primary the first few questions, the first checkpoint, because old girl is lying the whole time.
Only way I can fact, well, Veronica, listen. Only way I can fact check him is to talk to you. Listen, Veronica, this is what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm doing right now. You're the fact check. I'm giving you the opportunity to fact check.
But you're not.
I can only fact check with you,
Are you
Veronica.
really giving me the opportunity? Are you really giving me the opportunity?
Veronica. Here's the deal. I'm gonna say it for the fourth time.
I'm gonna digress and take.
I'm gonna say it for the first. I'm gonna say it for the fourth time. You volunteered the information about not having surgery. I didn't even ask the question. You volunteered the information.
A lot of information.
So now I'm asking you now.
To me how you're stuck on that particular thing.
Veronica.
Oh man. Oh man. Can you imagine the arguments? Can you imagine the discussion in the house with Veronica? It's never gonna get anywhere. It's gonna go in a big circle. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna go in a big circle because not only is she not letting her speak, she is throwing just random things that has nothing to do with the conversation. Just to throw the conversation off, just to throw her off, just to stop her from finishing her thoughts, her questions, and what she wanted to know from her. It's clearly a tactic she's using to deflect from the real issue of her being just a terrible communicator, a liar, a weird mom, because you're gonna say, you know what I'm saying, a weird mom, and just not a good person, you know?
And it's showing.
Is that a true statement that you said?
It's showing. And like I said,
okay, we done. We done.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Child, let me tell you something. The rules of this show. No videos come down and I call nobody. You call me. Plain and simple. Now, the fact that you're not willing to answer the question that you offered to us. I never even asked you if you had body surgery. Never was going to ask you if you had body surgery. You said you never had body surgery. Now I done asked you 3 times if you want to confirm or deny that. And every time I ask, the attorney is involved.
Yeah.
The attorney, how could the attorney be involved in something that you volunteered to tell the world? That question would have never came up. But now all of a sudden, you can't say legally if you had body surgery or not? Child, listen, let me tell you something, child. The one thing about this is you guys play yourselves all the time. I've been doing the show for 4 years. If you didn't know about it, that's on your ass. That is on your ass. If you don't know about the show, there's plenty of videos. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. Plain and simple. This is not a new show, honey. It's not a new show. And this was your opportunity to deny a lot of things that Rudy said. And, you know, it is what it is. I want this to be a lesson to everyone that called.
And I agree. I agree with Kendra. I agree with her. She was a difficult person to deal with. Difficult person to have a conversation with. And I can imagine she's a difficult person to be in a relationship with. But that's it for us today for our show. Shout out to Kendra, and we appreciate your content. Next time I will play more of a traditional what a traditional Kendra show look like. But I figured I'd play that because, you know, when we play the Pop the Balloons and you get a peek of some of these girls that are on that show, then you get an in-depth view like this with Kendra, and you start understanding, okay, this is why some, the ones that are single, not all, some, right? Women are having issues dating at this point because a relationship, a traditional relationship, takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of listening, a lot of understanding, a lot of respect, right? It takes some work. And from what we've seen with her, she's not even willing to speak to a stranger respectfully. She's not even willing to have a short conversation under 20 minutes in a respectful manner. She's not willing to listen. And that's the same person that'll probably imply that men are terrible and some more. Some more. But what are you doing for yourself? And I encourage everyone, instead of complain about what you're bumping into and the dating pool, how about improve yourself? Work on yourself. Make sure you're who you want to bump into in a dating pool, right? Make sure the person you are, and it's hard because it takes some accountability. It takes some looking into the mirror. It takes some work. And that's usually hard for people to admit to themselves that I'm doing something wrong, that I am the problem, that I might have to change some things. I might have to do some things differently. It's very difficult. And that's human nature. That's fine. So that's where the hard work comes in. So I encourage everyone, work on yourself. Figure out what about you that you are proud of and others are proud of. And figure out what about you others dislike and that you also dislike or come to dislike because you're realizing it. And that's the number one step. Once you do that, then you're able to move to solution and solving it and changing it. Because once you realize it's a problem for you, your attitude, your manners of communication, your way of doing things, because sometimes it's habits. Sometimes it's habits, and you gotta break it. And that's if you want a successful relationship. She's 40 plus, so how much more time she got to find the person and build a meaningful relationship? Nobody knows, because everyone has a date. Everyone don't live to the same date, and everyone have different path, right? But I think it's time for her to start working on those things so she could move forward to a healthy, happy relationship that she could be comfortable in and live a comfortable life if that's what she wants. You understand? So that's it for us, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you. I appreciate you being here, watching, spending some time with me on the Middle Ground channel. And have a good one. Enjoy your afternoon. Love to everybody. Thank you again, guys. I'll be here again with some more content for you guys. Again, also visit my Instagram, The Middle Ground with Suede. Same for X. Same for TikTok, if TikTok's still around. Hopefully they work on it. I believe they're gonna work on it. And if you also would like to support, and we appreciate your support, we have the Cash App here, the Middle Ground Cash App, and also PayPal. Thank you again, guys. Have a great evening. We'll talk another time.